That feeling, you know the one I'm talking
Oh,
about?
I do.
It's exactly 4:59 p.m. on a Friday. You're staring at your computer screen, or maybe you're on the factory floor, or you're just, finishing up that last email.
The final click of the mouse.
Yes. And the clock ticks over to 5000 p.m. And suddenly the air in the room it changes. The gravity feels a little bit lighter.
Uh-huh.
That heavy backpack of the work week just drops to the floor with a thud.
It is a visceral physical sensation, isn't it? It's the universal exhale.
Yes.
It's that psychological shift from the world of I have to answer this, I have to fix that, to the world of want to.
Exactly. It's the weekend, the
Yeah.
holy grail of the modern workers.
And today we're doing something a little different on the deep dive.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
Usually we are unpacking complex history, or we're looking at some, terrifying new AI technology, or analyzing geopolitical trends. But today
The unpacking relaxation.
we are unpacking relaxation. Specifically, we are looking at how English learners can master the vocabulary of the weekend. And this is such a fascinating topic because, and I've seen this time and time again for language learners, the weekend conversation is often the absolute hardest part of their week.
Really? Why do you think that is? You'd think talking about relaxing would be, well, for
No,
relaxers.
you would think so.
Yeah.
But think about the context. You spend all week memorizing business terms for the meeting.
Right.
Synergy and quarterly projections and supply chain. You're ready. But then Monday morning comes around.
The coffee machine.
You're standing by the coffee machine.
Yeah.
A colleague walks up and asks the most terrifying question in the English language. So what did you do this weekend?
And you freeze.
You freeze. Because suddenly you need casual verbs, you need phrasal verbs, you need cultural nuance. You can't say, I executed a sleep strategy.
What? No. You sound like a robot.
It optimized my rest parameters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to make you any friends.
Not at all. So our mission today is to analyze a source text, a really rich dialogue from the English Everyday podcast that breaks down two very different ways to spend a weekend.
We're going to extract the gold nuggets of vocabulary, the cultural norms, and the specific phrases that will make you sound like a native speaker when you're talking about your downtime.
And what I love about this source material, what makes it so perfect for this, is that it gives us two perfect archetypes to look at. We have Sarah and we have Mark.
The classic duo,
Yep.
Sarah and Mark. And based on this source, these two could not be more different in how they approach their Saturday mornings. It's the battle of the homebody versus the active socializer.
Which is such a great dynamic for learning because it effectively doubles the vocabulary. You get the words for resting, the cozy stuff.
You get the words for doing the active stuff. It covers the full spectrum.
Right. So settle in. Whether you're listening to this on your commute or maybe you're actually sleeping in right now. Ooh, spoiler alert, that's our first major vocab word. Let's dive into the weekend routines of Sarah and Mark.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the source material opens with a very relatable scene. Sarah and Mark are introducing the topic, the weekend. And they immediately establish that this is a time distinct from the Monday to Friday grind.
Yeah, let's hit the stage.
But the real meat of the conversation, the part where the linguistic sparks start flying, it starts with Saturday morning.
Right. And this is where we see the first major divergence in personality.
Yeah.
And it's so immediate. Mark asks Sarah a crucial question, a question that reveals his own bias, I think.
What does he ask?
He asks, do you wake up at 7 a.m. like you do on workdays?
Which, just pausing there, who wakes up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday if they don't have to? That sounds like torture to me.
Laughs. Well, we will get to Mark's psychology in a moment. But Sarah's response is just, it's an anthem for tired people everywhere.
What does she say?
She says, oh, no way, Mark. On Saturdays, I sleep in.
Okay, let's put a pin in that phrase right now. Sleep. In. It sounds so simple. Two tiny words. But for a non-native speaker, this is a minefield.
It really is. And this is where we have to geek out on phrasal verbs for a second.
Oh, everyone's favorite.
I know. Phrasal verbs are the nightmare of English learners because that little preposition changes everything. In English, you can sleep over, sleep around, sleep with, sleep off.
And if you mix those up, you are in a lot of trouble. You do not want to tell your boss you slept around on Saturday morning when you meant you slept in.
No, that would be a very, very different conversation for HR. Context is everything. So let's unpack the particle in. Why in?
I've always thought about it inside, what? Inside the blankets, inside the house.
Essentially, yes. I think that's a great way to visualize it. It implies containment. You are staying inside the state of sleep, or inside the covers, past the boundary of necessity.
So you're insulated from the world.
Exactly. It's like you're in a little cocoon.
I love that image. It frames sleep as a location you choose to inhabit. But the source material draws a really sharp line here between sleeping in and another similar word, oversleeping.
This is the crucial insight. And if you take one thing away from this section, please let it be this distinction.
Okay.
Oversleeping carries guilt. It's negative. The prefix over usually implies excess or error.
Like, I overate, I overdid it, I overreacted.
All negative. Oversleeping is, oh no, I missed my alarm.
Right, oversleeping is, I missed the bus and now I'm panicked. It's an accident.
Whereas sleeping in is a deliberate act of rebellion against the alarm clock. It's reclaiming your time.
It's a luxury.
It's a luxury. In the source, when Sarah says she sleeps in, she isn't confessing to a crime, she's announcing a pleasure. It implies enjoyment. It implies intent.
So when she says she wakes up at 9:00 or 9:30 a.m., she's doing it on purpose. It's a scheduled activity. Her main activity is not getting up.
Exactly. Which, compared to a 7 a.m. workday wake-up, feels like a mini vacation in and of itself.
Absolutely. Now let's contrast that with Mark. The source implies he wakes up early, probably around that 7 a.m. mark, even on Saturday.
Mark represents the active start philosophy. He doesn't see the weekend as a time to turn off. He sees it as a time to maximize.
So he's not resting, he's just doing a different kind of work almost.
In a way, yeah. He's treating his Saturday with the same discipline as his Tuesday, but for a different goal. His goal is recreation, not obligation.
And that sets the stage for the next big ritual, breakfast. I feel like breakfast is the most defining meal of the weekend. It tells you everything about how the rest of the day is going to go.
It definitely sets the tempo, doesn't it?
Fair.
In the dialogue, they make a very clear comparison between a weekday breakfast and a weekend breakfast.
Right. Mark mentions that on weekdays, Sarah usually just has coffee and toast.
Which is pure function.
It's fuel.
Yeah.
I need fuel to get to the office. That's all it is.
Exactly. It's utilitarian. It's barely a meal. It's a biological necessity you get out of the way.
Yeah.
But listen to how Sarah describes her Saturday morning meal. She calls it a big breakfast.
Oh, I wrote down the list of ingredients she mentions because it sounds delicious. She cooks eggs, she makes pancakes, and she pours a large glass of orange juice.
Notice the verbs there, cooks, makes. This requires time. You don't make pancakes when you have 5 minutes before catching a train.
No way.
This vocabulary signals to the listener that the pace of the day has slowed way down. Making pancakes is almost a meditative act compared to grabbing toast.
And she adds another detail. She says, I take my time and read the news on my phone.
That phrase, take my time, is key. It's the opposite of rushing. So for a learner listening to this, if you want to describe a relaxed morning, you don't just list the food, you describe the pace.
I took my time.
I had a slow breakfast. It paints a picture.
A picture of luxury. Meanwhile, Mark is probably halfway through a marathon by the time Sarah pours the syrup.
Not quite a marathon, but the source says he puts on his sneakers and goes for a run in the park.
Puts on his sneakers. Again, simple vocabulary, but it's specific. In the UK, they might say trainers. In the US, sneakers. But the action signifies the start of activity. It's a transition.
It is. And it's interesting because for Mark, the relaxation comes from the physical exertion. This is a concept that confuses some people. How can running be relaxing?
Right, it seems like work.
But it's about the release of endorphins. It's about clearing your head. For Sarah, the relaxation comes from stillness. Both are valid weekend strategies, and the source material gives us the language to describe both.
So we've got Sarah full of pancakes and Mark full of endorphins. Now we move into the middle of the day, phase 2, chores, errands, and the start of socializing.
This is the part of the weekend that isn't always glamorous, but it is necessary. And I like that the source makes a point to include it.
It adds to the realism.
It does.
Yeah.
Because, let's be honest, nobody spends 48 hours just eating pancakes and watching movies.
I mean, I have tried, but eventually you run out of pancakes.
They're essentially reality calls. And you have to do laundry.
Totally. Even in a relaxed weekend, the house doesn't clean itself. Sarah mentions she does housework.
And specifics are important here for a learner. She doesn't just say housework. She lists cleaning the living room and doing laundry.
I want to stop on doing laundry. That is one of those collocations, those word pairs that always go together, that learners often get wrong.
Oh, all the time.
You don't make laundry.
No. You make a mistake, you make a cake, but you do the laundry. It falls under that category of tasks or work, like do homework or do the dishes.
So do is usually for the process of maintenance, and make is for creating something new.
As a general rule of thumb, yes. That's a really helpful distinction. And Mark has his own version of this maintenance. He goes to the supermarket.
To buy groceries for the whole week.
Right. And think about the vocabulary of errands. Grocery shopping, laundry, cleaning. These are often grouped under adulting and modern slang, the boring tasks that keep your life running.
The unfun part of the weekend.
But in the source, they're just presented as the bridge between the morning routine and the afternoon fun.
Speaking of fun, let's talk about how they socialize, because this is where the vocabulary gets really useful for connecting with people. This is the small talk goldmine.
Yes. So Sarah mentions she meets a friend for coffee.
A classic maneuver. Can't go wrong with coffee.
It is. But look at the word the source highlights. Chat. Chat. C-H-A-T.
Mark defines it explicitly in the text. He says it means to talk in a friendly, informal way.
Okay, but pause for a second. Mark defines chat as talking in a friendly way. But isn't that just talking? Why do we need a specific word for it? If I tell a native speaker I talked with my friend, is that wrong?
It's not wrong, grammatically speaking, but it's flavorless. It's like saying I consumed food instead of I devoured a burger.
I consumed food with my friend.
Yeah,
You
never
sound
had-
like a robot. Or as police report, I talked to the suspect.
Exactly. Talk is functional. Chat is emotional. It implies a specific vibe. It's low stakes. There's no agenda.
Ah, okay.
Think about it. If your boss says, we need to talk, your stomach drops.
Oh, instant anxiety. That means I'm in trouble. But if your boss says, do you have a sec to chat? Totally different energy. It implies equality, casualness.
That's a great takeaway right there. The word chat is a safety signal. It means relax. This isn't serious.
100%. And looking at Sarah in the source text, she's doing this in a cafe. This connects to what sociologists call the third place.
The third place, what's that?
Yeah, it's Ray Oldenburg's theory. Home is the first place, work is the second place, but we need a third place to just be humans.
A neutral ground.
A neutral ground. Cafes, parks, barbershops. That is where chatting happens. Sarah's utilizing her third place to decompress.
And Mark, he's not at a cafe, is he?
No, Mark visits his parents. This introduces family vocabulary in a different setting. He says, we sit in the garden if the weather is nice.
Sit in the garden. That paints such a peaceful image. It's different from the buzz of a cafe. It's domestic.
It is. And it highlights two different ways people connect on weekends. Sarah connects with peers in a public third place, the cafe. Mark connects with family in a private space, the home or garden.
Both of them are recharging, but in different ways. Sarah gets energy from that peer connection.
And Mark seems to get it from that familial stability.
Right. And for a learner, being able to say, I visited my parents or I met a friend for coffee covers about 80% of what people actually do on Saturday afternoons.
Absolutely. If you master those two phrases, you are ready for Monday morning.
It really does cover the bases. Okay, so the sun is going down. It's Saturday night, the prime time of the weekend. This is usually when the FOMO, fear of missing out, kicks in.
Right.
And this is where the differences between Sarah and Mark become stark.
This is phase 3, the night. And this gives us perhaps the most culturally significant vocabulary word in the whole text.
I know exactly which one you mean. It's a word that I think has undergone a massive rebranding in the last 10 years.
Homebody.
Yes. Sarah describes herself. I usually stay in. I'm a bit of a homebody.
And the source defines this perfectly as someone who prefers staying home over going out.
Now, historically, was homebody a negative term? I feel like it used to be.
It really has shifted. If you look at this word 20 or 30 years ago, calling someone a homebody might have implied they were boring.
Yeah, antisocial. A stick in the mud. Someone who has no friends.
Right. But look at Sarah in the text. She wears this label like a badge of honor. She says it's her favorite way to relax. It's a choice she is proud of.
Why do you think that shifted? Why is it cool to be a homebody now?
I think it comes down to the concept of JOMO.
JOMO. I know FOMO, fear of missing out.
This is the antidote. JOMO. The joy of missing out.
Ah, I like that.
It's the realization that staying in with a pizza and Netflix isn't a failure to socialize. It's a successful reclamation of peace.
A successful reclamation of peace. And linguistically, look at the compound word. Homebody. Your body is at home. It's so grounding.
It is. And Sarah pairs this with specific vocabulary. Order a pizza.
Let's drill into that. She doesn't say buy a pizza or get a pizza. She says order.
And order implies service. It implies the modern economy of convenience. You tap a button on your phone, food appears. It fits the homebody narrative because it requires zero exit from the sanctuary.
It's the low-energy luxury we talked about, and she couples that with watching a movie on Netflix.
That combination, takeout and streaming, is the modern definition of a cozy night. It requires almost zero output of social or physical energy.
But Mark is not ordering pizza on the couch. Mark is putting those sneakers back on, or maybe nicer shoes this time.
No. Mark says, I usually go out to dinner with my friends.
Go out.
Mm.
The phrasal verb that is the binary opposite of stay in.
Simple phrasal verbs, but they control the whole sentence. Are you going out or staying in? That is the quintessential Saturday night question.
And Mark lists the types of food they try. Sushi, Italian, Mexican.
I love that he lists specific cuisines. It shows variety. He's exploring the city through food.
It's a form of adventure.
It is. And why does the specific food matter? Pizza Sarah's choice is comfort. It's consistent. You know exactly what a pepperoni pizza tastes like.
It's safe.
It's safe. Sushi and Mexican. That's exploratory. That's sensory input. Mark is feeding his brain with novelty. Sarah is feeding her brain with familiarity.
That is a deep psychological profile based on dinner choices. I love it.
And he mentions that sometimes he goes to a party, but usually he just walks in the city and heads home.
But he puts a time limit on it, which I found fascinating. Did you catch that?
I did. He says, I try to go to bed by midnight.
And his reasoning is crucial, so I don't feel tired on Sunday.
It is surprisingly responsible. I feel like the stereotype of the active socializer is staying out until 3 a.m., dancing on tables. But Mark is disciplined.
He is. He wants to enjoy the night, but he doesn't want to sacrifice the next day. It shows a maturity in his routine. He views his energy as a limited resource.
So we have Sarah in her pajamas with pizza, embracing Jomo,
Right.
and Mark walking through the city after sushi, embracing the social scene but with a curfew.
Both sound great, honestly. They do. And importantly, the source emphasizes the casual nature of both. Mark isn't going to a black tie gala. He's going for a walk. Sarah isn't doing a silent meditation retreat. She's watching Netflix.
It's accessible leisure, relatable.
Which brings us to Sunday. Phase 4. The source text calls Sunday the prep and the reset.
This is a really interesting cultural shift we see in the dialogue. Sunday isn't just for fun anymore, it's for functioning.
What do you mean?
In many English-speaking cultures, Sunday has this dual personality. The morning is lazy, brunch, maybe read the paper, but the evening is full of dread.
The Sunday scaries.
Exactly. And both our characters have strategies to fight the Sunday scaries. Sarah calls it her prep day.
And Mark asks the question the listener might be thinking, prep day? What do you mean?
Sarah explains that she prepares for the week, she plans her outfits for work, and then she drops a major buzzword that has exploded in the last decade. Meal prep.
Meal prep. Let's look at that. It's a compound noun, just like homebody.
And Mark clarifies it for the audience. You cook food for the next few days.
And Sarah confirms she makes a big soup or a salad.
This is crucial vocabulary for the modern learner. Meal prep is a very common topic of conversation now. It implies organization, health consciousness, and time management.
It's more than just cooking, isn't it?
It is. Cooking focuses on the act. Meal prep focuses on the strategic outcome.
That's a great distinction. Sarah explicitly says, it saves me so much time on Monday morning. So her Sunday sacrifice buys her freedom on Monday.
Exactly. She is front-loading her effort. She is being kind to her future self. Now, compare that to Mark's Sunday.
Mark says his Sundays are for hobbies.
He mentions playing guitar and reading a book.
And he gives a psychological reason for this. He says it helps him clear my mind.
That phrase, clear my mind, is beautiful. It suggests that the work week clutters the mind. It fills your brain with noise, stress, emails, deadlines.
All the mental clutter.
And the weekend is the filter. Mark's hobby is his filter.
So Sarah clears her schedule by meal prepping, and Mark clears his mind by playing music.
Both are strategies to deal with the upcoming week. They are Sunday scaries prevention tactics.
It's all about going into Monday feeling in control.
It is implied, yes. The source shows them winding down. And despite their completely different weekends, Sarah the homebody, Mark the active guy, they end Sunday exactly the same way.
The great convergence.
Yes.
They both aim for an early bed, around 10:00 p.m.
Which is very sensible.
Sarah describes her wind-down routine. long bath, brushing teeth. Very specific, calming actions.
And Mark agrees on the importance of getting a good night's sleep.
And that really closes the loop. They started with sleep or, the intentional lack of it for Sarah on Saturday morning.
Right, and the prioritization of it for Mark.
And then they end with sleep. It frames the weekend as a cycle of recovery. You expend energy, you gather energy, and then you reset for the battle of the work week.
It's a comprehensive look at a standard, relaxed weekend. Really useful.
Now, I want to circle back to the vocabulary. We promised some gold nuggets at the start, and we've covered a lot of ground. But let's do a quick recap of the heavy hitters we found in this source.
Yes, let's. Ideally, if you are a learner listening to this, you should walk away with these 4 terms locked in your brain. These are your weapons for that Monday morning coffee machine chat.
Okay, what's number 1?
Number 1, sleep in.
The intentional, luxurious late morning.
Exactly, meaning
Yeah.
to wake up late on purpose. Usage. I love to sleep in on Saturdays. Remember, it's not oversleeping. It's a choice.
Love that one. Number 2.
Chat, meaning informal, friendly talk.
Low pressure.
Very low pressure usage. We met at a cafe to chat. Remember the third place. It's about connection without an agenda.
Essential. Number 3.
Homebody, meaning
Uh-huh.
a person who prefers the comfort of home.
And it's a good thing.
It's a great thing. Usage. I'm a bit of a homebody, so I stayed in. Remember, this is the positive term now. Embrace the JOMO.
And number 4, the modern classic.
Meal prep, meaning cooking ahead of time for the week.
The strategic Sunday activity.
Right. Usage. I do my meal prep on Sundays. It shows you are organized and ready for the week.
These words aren't just random vocabulary. They are the building blocks of that Monday morning conversation we talked about.
That's the so what here. Why does this all matter? Because connection happens in the details. If you just say, my weekend was good, the conversation ends. It dies right there.
Right. It's a dead end. There's nowhere for the other person to go with that.
But if you say, I slept in until 9:30, then I did some meal prep, suddenly you are sharing your life.
Yeah.
You're giving the other person a hook to ask questions.
Oh, what did you cook?
Oh, I wish I could sleep in. My kids wake me up at 6.
Yeah.
Now you have a real conversation.
It turns a transactional exchange into a relational one. That is the power of specific vocabulary. It allows you to be seen.
Precisely. It allows you to tell your story.
So here's the question for you listening right now. We want you to think about the source material we just analyzed. We have Sarah, the planner, and the relaxer, the homebody.
And we have Mark, the energetic explorer, the active socializer.
Ask yourself, are you a Sarah or are you a Mark?
Or maybe a bit of both.
Do you recharge by running in the park or by ordering pizza and watching Netflix?
There is no wrong answer, but knowing the answer helps you find the right words to describe your life. And honestly, most of us change depending on the week.
And hey, maybe you're a hybrid. Maybe you run in the morning and meal prep at night.
The Sark or the Mara.
Laughs. We'll work on the hybrid names. But the point is, whether you are chatting in a cafe or sitting in your garden, the vocabulary you learn today helps you share that experience.
And that is the goal of language learning. At the end of the day, it's not just to know words, but to share yourself with the world.
Well said. That's all we have for this deep dive into the weekend. We hope your next weekend is full of sleeping in and good chats.
And maybe some pancakes?
Definitely pancakes. Thanks for listening, everyone.